chairman of the Jackson County Board of Commissioners and owner of Miller Shoes, Steve Shotwell. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Bart. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
It's good to shake your hand again after 2 years
That's
of
right.
high five and fist bumping and waving at each other. So yeah.
Great to have you back. Happy
Yes.
New Year. Number of big plans for the county this year.
And working with new commissioners and Vice Chairman Kennedy. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. John Willis is now on the Board of Commissioners, so that'll be insight that we haven't had in the past. John's very thoughtful and studies his decisions very well before he even starts talking. So it'll be a good time to have John Willis on the board.
Yeah, and John mentioned to me a few months ago that he was hopeful that he would be a conduit to strengthen the relationship between the city and the county in his role.
Well, his participation will make a big difference in and of itself. He really gets along with the commissioners right now, and it makes for a great blend of city and county personnel.
Good.
Yep.
Well, so far we haven't had to use a lot of salt on the roads.
No, not yet. Just one weekend.
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm sure there's going to be much more, and it's usually winter that we end up with damage to the roads because of the weather. But overall, the county's been conducting an effort to redo a lot of the county
Yes.
roads.
We're doing everything we possibly can and partnering with the different townships, whether it be Spring Arbor Township, Summit Township, or Blackman Township. They have rural secondary road projects that they're doing where they're getting completely caught up on everything. And then Leone Township put together some funding last year to pay 50% of the primary roads within Leone Township. Page Avenue, Ballard, Fallahy, Flansburgh, those roads all were repaved and reworked by the county and with assistance from the township. Unfortunately, their millage was defeated on the secondary roads, but we did put together quite a plan for them, and we will continue to work with them to figure out ways to clean up neighborhoods and that type of stuff also going forward. But then also, we paved Robinson and McCain, fixed that whole intersection, and that's now an all-season road with a completely recycled paving system being used on it. And finished a traffic study on Spring Arbor Road from M60 all the way back to Morell and Brown. So that will begin implementation of different things in that system going forward and recommendations from the state. So yeah, a lot of different roads. And then, as we all know, 94 from Airport Road to 127 Sergeant Road is being completely rebuilt and widened and improved, and we're finding new and innovative places to put roundabouts and as much fun as we possibly can to entertain the drivers of Jackson.
Yes, and once it's all done, it's going to be a great gateway to the community.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be.
The airport, I understand there's some plans underway to make some improvements with the control tower.
Yes. Juan has put together a plan where we are able to get 100% reimbursement of a tower renovation, which will make it all ADA accessible for employment and also get us so that we're compliant going forward for the county to continue to enhance the business model that we're using out at the airport of approaching manufacturers and businesses that need an airport for different services, whether it be fly-in service to Jackson, Hillsdale, Calhoun, and the surrounding businesses in this area, to also the possibility of drone traffic and the use of that type of business going forward for the inspection of pipelines and cable lines and water and all of that type of inspection along long-range pipelines and railways.
Well, right now, drones are being used to inspect. I know consumers use a lot of drones to inspect transmission lines and so on. What's What's new and different with drones?
Well, as you know, when JTV flies its drone, your drone has to be within the vision of your person who's flying the drone.
Right.
This new program that we're working on and will be going forward with is allowing the drones to fly out of sight. So they would take off similar to military drones and fly greater distances and not have to have the pilot actually CC physical sight of the drone, but would be able to keep track of it electronically and monitoring it. So this is something innovative, and it allows for new businesses. And the airport has put together a plan and is working with Mead and Hunt, our providers of services and design at the airport, helped us all through the remodel and everything out there, to now work on a business park on what would be the southwest corner of the airport, and hopefully develop more of that property. And you'll see new hangars and new business signs and that type of stuff as we go forward over the next 5 to 10 years at the airport.
Yeah, a lot of that particular portion of the airport had been a landfill many years ago, and that was mitigated. And I know there was some runway extension done in that area as well, but there's now room for...
Well, yeah, and if you remember, Kent Maurer kind of planned ahead for that business model and left the old taxiways in place. And so we were able to work with the federal government to secure funding to now put together this business model to put inside that park area. So the vision that Kent had for developing that into some type of air park is coming to fruition.
Nice. One of the busiest airports in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of people don't realize that we have a lot of takeoffs and landings. We have a new private school that's now at the airport, also flight school. So if you'd like to learn to fly, that opportunity's there. We also have a group of pilots that have put together some planes for co-op flying. So where you could possibly rent their planes to get your flight hours in and everything like that once you get your pilot's license and maintain that. And that's usually the most expensive part of it. You know, you get a pilot's license, and then all of a sudden, where do I fly? You know, it's not quite as easy as everyone makes it out to be on video games, but it is something that this is hands-on flight experience. So yes.
Nice. Well, not too far from the airport, the new park development for commercial business is...
Yeah, manufacturing just beyond the TAC facility and the chemical facility that's out there. Everyone thinks back when Ray Snell was a supervisor, he helped put the beginning of this plan. He overlaid the LDFA plan in place and designated that property for it, but it wasn't available at that time. There still was a going concern on it. There was a dairy farm and a grain farm. And now that people have gotten older and retired, the Blackman LDFA was able to purchase that property, and now we're developing it into Jackson's next manufacturing hub. So the county allocated an additional $900,000 to develop the road from Blackman all the way back to Shirley Drive, clean up the interchange at Airport Road, and this will then become a primary thoroughfare for the truck traffic to be able to get to that site as we develop it more with advanced manufacturing and products that go forward. So.
Yeah, and I think the county also participating by, with the road improvements, adding some sort of pedestrian or non-vehicular path along that road.
Yes, that's correct. And Jackson County, along with the city of Jackson, Summit Township, and Blackman and Leone Townships participated in a walk study, an urban walk study here 3 years ago. And in that, we mapped out where the highest concentrations were going to be of pedestrian traffic going forward, or what we considered non-motorized traffic, you know, bicycles, that type of stuff. And that was one of the areas that was recognized, and we'll be going forward with that type of stuff. And you're also going to see the county and the city participate along Brown Street. You're going to continue the pathway from Morel to Michigan Avenue, and that thoroughfare that will connect the downtown via non-motorized pathway to the Cascades and make it so you effectively could walk from the Cascades all the way up to the county fairgrounds and interconnect with all the city amenities that are along the way.
Well, where you've made the improvements on Brown Street between Morel and the park, you've actually narrowed the traffic lanes. Will that occur then from Morel to?
I think that study will come forward, and I really don't think so. And while it looks like it narrowed there from Morel to the park, it really didn't. You put curbs in. And curbs have a tendency to define space, whereas when you had gutters, or not gutters, but ditches, it made the road look wider and more open.
Right.
So you're correct that it is cleaned up. It's well paved, and that whole section, Commissioner at the time, it was State Representative Pileski, found that money, and we were able to get that done in a partnership with the state of Michigan and the county road department and the city, because that's one of the multi-jurisdictional roads that overlays.
Right.
And then the county redeveloped the park and where the boulevard was. Now that's all parking for people to be able to walk and enjoy the Cascades even more. And the county park system is now paving the trail that goes north from the falls along High Street, and all of that is getting all enhancements and everything like that to it and cleaned up, and a lot of the broken asphalt will get fixed. And then we'll end up with a pickleball court system over there on Denton. So a lot of development going on in Jackson County.
Yeah, I understand the county just put the project out for bids for the
Yes.
pickleball.
That's correct. So we'll have the pickleball extravaganzas going on here in Jackson. You'll have courts at the Cascades, out at Grass Lake, and Ellisharp Park. So yeah. So who knows? Maybe we could have some pickleball tournaments downtown too.
Do you play pickleball?
No, I've not had the opportunity yet. Do you?
Once.
Once? Was that
Yeah.
enough?
Well, I'd like to play some more.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to put a little more time into it to get the hang of it.
I think that now that it's out there, you've said this, you'll probably get a lot of calls when the weather
Oh yeah,
breaks.
I'm sure. I have some pickleball friends, but they've never asked me to play. I don't know what it is. Well, you know, speaking of the parks, Keeley Park looks awesome. It's amazing how that's transformed over the years. Is there more to do at Keeley Park?
Oh, a lot more to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to do. And that'll be something that'll be done over a period of time. Right now, we're reaching out to all our rural parks, Clark Lake, Swains Lake, Maynard Mills, updating the toys and amenities that are within those parks, enhancing them. We'll be enhancing the bridges out at Maynard Mills this next couple of years so people can get across the Grand River within the park. So yeah, but Keeley Park will be developed further. There is a master plan for the Keeley, and that will be worked with the city. Now remember, the county ended up with everything that was the old prison, and we're currently using that for parking. But we're reviewing the buildings. We've done a brownfield plan, phase 1 and 2, on the buildings that are over there, and not a total secret, but the county is going to be working with the city on developing those buildings for year-round use. So yeah, and then hopefully that'll be something more exciting coming forward. News later.
Nice.
Not exactly, but yes.
I know one of the plans is to redo the entrance to Keeley Park, and the billboard that's there. It has a steel beam that kind of
And the billboards.
Yeah, hold the billboard. But someone drove into it.
Yes, we've
Yeah.
had all kinds of errors occur there, but
Yeah.
the lease is up on that, and that'll be coming down. So we'll have those billboards gone, and you'll be able to see the American One Event Center right from Jackson Street.
Nice.
And I know once the bridges are all taken care of, Denise would really like to have an old fair parade like we'd have. We talked about doing it, but in the middle of COVID, it didn't work out. So
Yeah. Man, we used to do that. I mean, that was one of the, going way back 160 years or so. that was part of the start of the fair.
Well, I saw pictures of the astronauts coming down Jackson Street and people standing on the overpass as Mr. McDivitt and everyone passed underneath it. And that was the parade route, was Jackson Street. So, yeah,
All right, well, maybe that'll come back.
that'd be nice.
Well, we appreciate all the news and updates from the county.
Well, thank you.
And,
We appreciate everything that the Bart Hawley Show does for the county. And you assist us a lot with our message to get out to the community on the different things we need, whether it be the health department or Keeley Park or the parks events, and we appreciate that also very much.
Thanks so much. We appreciate our partnership with the county.
Yes, sir.
And we are expecting more winter, and I noticed you've got good stock of winter boots and more.
On sale.
On
They're
sale.
They're on sale now.
Check them out downtown. Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Bart. Always a good time.
From the Jackson County Board of Commissioners Chairman, Steve Shotwell. More to come on